Good afternoon. I am Valentina Bagnaga of Investor Relation at ThePlatform.finance, the accelerator part of VA Capital, dedicated to alternative investment opportunities. Today, I have the pleasure of having with me Johannes Feist, CEO of the Mikro Kapital Group, and Gianluca Guerra, founder of VA Capital. We are here for a conversation among colleagues about the development of microcredit worldwide. So, Gianluca, would you like to start with the conversation?
Yes, thank you, Valentina, and thank you, Giannis, for your presence here with us. Today, we're going to do a very easy chat to discover a little bit better the opportunity of microcredit in different regions. I have 6 questions for you, and after this question, we can ask to the attendees if they have any other question. So let me start from the beginning. So, Johannes, the first question is about the market overview. Are there areas in the world among the emerging ones where the microcredit market is more concentrated?
Yeah, well, there are several emerging markets where microcredit is particularly concentrated and well developed, and these regions have seen substantial growth in microcredit institutions number and total assets under management, usually due to a combination of several factors: conducive regulatory environments, high demand for financial inclusion, so a lot of work to do still in financial inclusion, but also established networks of microfinance organizations. So if I look at markets with a high concentration or high microfinance development level, certainly South and Southeast Asia need to be mentioned. Primarily, of course, India, with one of the largest microfinance markets globally, with major microfinance institutions, MFIs like SKS Microfinance, now called Bharat Financial Inclusion Limited, Bandhan Bank, and other operators extensively across the country. And here one has to say that the Reserve Bank of India and other relevant regulatory bodies have indeed created a very good supportive market for microfinance. One shouldn't leave out, however, the birthplace of microfinance being Bangladesh, and not leave it out largely because it's here where Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus and the Grameen Bank have been the starting point of microfinance activities across the globe, basically. Other countries in the region with a strong and concentrated microfinance market are, I would say, Cambodia and Vietnam. From a pure asset allocation perspective, and where most of the funding for microfinance, international funding, has gone to over the last years, certainly it's Latin America. And here I'd like to point out Bolivia first, one of the oldest, most sophisticated microfinance sectors in Latin America, with institutions like Banco Sol or Prodem, again, building on a conducive regulatory environment, which was conducive for the growth of the sector. Peru could also be mentioned, with institutions like Mi Banco and Edifica leading the market, again, supported by a good regulatory framework. Now, of course, people speak about microfinance, they often think of Africa, and here the picture is somewhat differentiated. There are countries with a well-developed microfinance sector, like Kenya, for example, with also banks involved in the microfinance sector, like Equity Bank, but also specialized microfinance institution fostering female financial inclusion, like Kenya Women Microfinance Bank. And also the next level of microfinance has been pioneered in Kenya with mobile money platforms like M-Pesa being developed there and having a very prominent role by now. When I would like to look at other countries in Africa with a strong microfinance sector, first I would think of Uganda, where well-known institutions like BRAC, originally from Bangladesh and now active in Uganda, Finca Uganda, or Pride Microfinance are operating again under a good and supportive regulatory and political framework. Could also mention Mozambique, where unlike in many other countries, the regulatory environment also allows microfinance institutions to take deposits, which is a big advantage, not only in their product offering to clients, but also in their refinancing. And now also Tanzania, Nigeria, Ghana should be mentioned. South Africa and Namibia, eventually in the African context, are also strongholds of microfinance, but less so on a role for microfinance in entrepreneurial finance, but more in consumer finance and especially payroll lending, because in both countries the banks are increasingly taking care of the entrepreneurial financial needs. So in each of these cases, substantial development was due to a combination of regulatory framework, demand for financial inclusion, and of course the presence of effective and efficient players in the market. Hope that answers your question broadly.